Developing the quality of loving. And we talked yesterday about loving other people and screwing the braces on. And if you do love other people, then you have to be willing to screw the braces on. Now let's talk today about loving yourself. Because there's lots of people that don't love themselves. And if you don't love yourself, it's really difficult. Matter of fact, I'm going to make a statement. I think it's impossible for you to love anybody else. If you don't love you, I don't think it's possible for you to love someone else. Now, I'd love to have a classroom right now because I promise you we could have some discussions on that, and I hope you got an accountability partner that you can have that. Look at the story, page 90. Arthur Berry was a jewel thief who operated during the Roaring Twenties. Berry gained an international reputation as possibly the most outstanding jewel thief of all time. He was not only a successful jewel thief, but also a connoisseur of the arts. As a matter of fact, he had become a snob and would not steal from just anyone. Not only must his prospects have money and jewels for him to come calling, but their names must be listed among the top echelons of society. It became somewhat of a status symbol to have been called on and robbed by this gentleman thief. One night, Berry was caught during a robbery and shot 3 times. With bullets in his body, splinters of glass in his eyes, and suffering excruciating pain, he made a not too unexpected statement. I'm never going to do this again. Miraculously, he escaped and for the next 3 years remained free. Then a jealous woman turned him in and Berry served an 18-year prison sentence. When he was released, he kept his word. He did not go back to the life of a jewel thief. As a matter of fact, he settled in a small New England town and lived a model life. Local citizens honored him by making him the commander of a local veterans organization. Eventually, however, word leaked out that the great Arthur Berry, the famous jewel thief, was in their midst. Reporters from all over came in to interview him. One young reporter got to the crux of the matter when he asked the most penetrating question of all. Mr. Berry, you stole from a lot of wealthy people during your years as a thief, but I'm curious to know if you remember the one person from whom you stole the most. Berry, without a moment's hesitation, said, that's easy. The man from whom I stole the most was Arthur Berry. I could have been a successful businessman, a baron on Wall Street, and a contributing member to our society. But instead, I chose the life of a thief and spent 2/3 of my adult life behind prison bars. Let me tell you another thief. You. If you're not getting everything out of the talents and the ability that God's given you, you're stealing. And sometimes the person we steal the most from is ourselves. It says, the question number 1 says, how does someone steal from themselves? Here's the person that steals from themselves. You walk into a classroom and somebody said, that's a terrible looking coat. Or, you sure look fat today. Or, how old are those shoes? They say something derogatory. Now let me explain something to you. They are not talking to you. They are telling you in no uncertain terms they don't like themselves. They're shouting it from the top of the desk. I don't like me. And I need you to say something bad about me so I can be an attention getter. The person in your classroom that's the thorn that's preventing any learning from going on, they can't stand themselves. They don't like themselves, and they need to get some attention from that teacher so they can prove who they are. The thorns in your classroom that are preventing learning from going on by making little crude remarks or talking while the teacher's talking. They're shouting at the top of their lungs, I don't like me. I need somebody to validate myself. You see, the first person you have to get to where you like and you love is you. Now, everybody, how easy is it to love yourself? Well, we marvel at the moon and we marvel at the stars and we look at a mountain and we say, gee, that's unbelievable. Or we look at a stream or we look at some of the scenery that we see and we marvel at it. And yet we let the most marvelous creation in the world go by without saying a thing. We are God's greatest creation. God loves you. You are loved. And if you don't love yourself, it's because you're working real hard not to love yourself. A survey was done that American people, 9 out of 10 people in America can tell you everything that's wrong with them. Not everything is right with them, but everything is wrong with them. What do we focus on? One of the reasons that people have difficulty gaining self-respect is they spend all their time complaining about what they don't have. I wish I had a full head of hair. Why? Do you really think a full head of hair would make you smarter? A better person? A better husband? A better father? A better student? A better athlete? No. See, if you're going to be the best student, best son, best father, best athlete, all you got to do is develop these qualities. And one of the first ones you need to develop is to love yourself. Now, I'm going to finish with this. The number one way you get to where you love yourself, number one, write the goals down and do them every day. The number one reason people have high morale, feel good about themselves, the number one reason is they feel like they're accomplishing something. If you don't write the goals down and you don't feel like you're accomplishing anything, you don't like yourself. Write down the goals, write the plan to get it done, and then do it every day. I talked about the point system yesterday. I can still see the smiles on my children's faces when they had 94 points. When they had a bunch of points, well, they had their, I got 94. And it almost became a competition sometimes. She's only got 92, I got 94. That's good. The number one way to get high morale, accomplish something. Number one way to love yourself, accomplish something. Write and do your goals. See you tomorrow.